Everyone, Sony84 here. I'm doing a little bit different video this time. I'm going to talk about something else. Another, I won't say love, another thing I enjoyed in my childhood, and that was wrestling. Why not, huh? I grew up watching wrestling in the 80s to early 90s, and kind of got out of it in the mid-90s. Monday Night Wars drew me back in. Started getting back out of it towards the mid-2000s when I got married, had kids. And then I just sort of drifted out of it. So I'm now more just a casual person who watches it. Honestly, I haven't watched it since maybe the Royal Rumble. I don't think I even watched all the Royal Rumble. I'm saying I've watched parts of stuff. I'm too busy to be able to watch it every time it comes on. But it's something that I thought I'd talk about because it is WrestleMania weekend. And so I was going to just live back my childhood, and I'm going to take the first 10 WrestleManias 1 through 10, and rank them from worst to first, and give you my, what I thought was the best match, and then what I thought was the worst match. Now, I'm not giving you the best match based on how technical wrestling was. Like, not every match has to be a Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels type match. It can be something that was fun, entertaining, or the spectacle of it all. Now, the worst match is the one that bored me to sleep, or it's just pure crap, or just whatever, you know. And sometimes it's hard to choose the worst match. But kicking it off with the worst WrestleMania from numbers 1 through 10. Now, like I said, my personal opinion, number 10 would be WrestleMania 2. When I want to go to sleep, I put that sucker in. I'm out. Now, I guess it had enough spectacle being the sequel to WrestleMania that it maybe lives up better than some people would probably judge WrestleMania 9 or 11 or something like that. But to me, it was just very boring. And doing it in 3 different cities with a different co-host, the celebrity I can't take a lot of them celebrity co-hosts. I can't take it. But to me, the worst match on that was Corporal Kirshner versus Nikolai Volkov. I'm not going to get into the whys of why it's this way, pretty much. It's just, if I ever review WrestleManias, I'll do it then. But to me, the best match of WrestleMania 2 was Great Hammer Valentine and Brutus Beefcake versus the British Bulldogs. And I'm a sucker for tag team wrestling, especially good tag team wrestling. And nowadays, it seems to be, they don't care about it. Number 9 will be WrestleMania 9. And that is another one that is just boring. I mean, try to come up with the worst match on that. Just about every match on that card was eh. So to pick worst, I'm going Hogan versus Yokozuna. It lasted all of 20-something seconds. Wasn't even a planned match. Happened afterwards, like an afterthought. Yoko, I mean, it really, and by that point, a lot of people, including myself, was tired of Hulk Hogan. And when I was growing up, he was never my top favorite anyway. I was more an Ultimate Warrior, Mr. Perfect, Randy Savage, Ric Flair kind of guy. I did not care for Hulk Hogan. Still really don't care for Hulk Hogan. I mean, I'm not going to get into all that right now. But WrestleMania 9, worst match, Hogan versus Yoko. Best match, Shawn Michaels versus Tatanka. And then maybe after that would be the Steiner Brothers, versus the Head Shrinkers, what they call themselves at that point. That match was pretty good. Like I said, I'm a sucker for tag team wrestling. Good tag team wrestling. Number 8 on this list is WrestleMania 1. I know, it's the WrestleMania that started them all. It's also boring. If you look back at it now, compared to what we've gotten since then, it just does not hold up. And it was just a thing of its time. And once you got to WrestleMania 3, things were changing. But WrestleMania 1, it was just the spectacle of it all, I guess you need to say. And that's why the worst match would be, in my opinion, David San Martino versus Brutus Beefcake. Of course, I could put a lot of other matches right there too. Was it S.D. Jones versus King Kong Bundy? Executioner versus Tito Santana. I can just put a whole bunch in there. The Body Slam Challenge between Stud and the Giant. But the best match would be the main event. Even though it wasn't really great, the spectacle of it the celebrities, and then just the actual thing that's going on. It was just a spectacle. Number 7, WrestleMania 4. Now, honestly, I like to watch this one. I just don't know why. I enjoy Bob Uecker, and when he's in the thing, I find it entertaining and funny. So I think he helped make WrestleMania 4 better than what it really was. And he helped with WrestleMania 3 as well. But WrestleMania 4, the worst match is Rick Rude versus Jake the Snake Roberts. That match was boring, and the way they tried to do the finish, to where neither one won, the time ran out. You can tell that they were trying to get it right, and it just didn't come across, well executed. And the best match, WrestleMania 4, that's a hard choice because they're all just, I don't know. I'm going to go with Savage versus DiBiase just because of the spectacle and finally Savage winning the belt. So that'd be my best match of WrestleMania 4. Number 6, WrestleMania 5. I like certain matches on this card, and then there's a lot of matches that are just boring. And try to give out a worst match. I wrote down 3 matches, and I can put down more. And I'm going to say that I'm going to go with Jake the Snake versus Andre the Giant. With the Bushwhackers versus the Rougeau brothers. As an honorable mention for the worst match. Snake Giant was very slow, very boring. Rougeau's Bushwhackers. It's the Bushwhackers. That tells you all you need to know. The best match of the night would be Savage versus Hogan. Even though Hogan won, you'll notice the thing that Savage probably can get a lot of my best matches in this stuff, but Savage versus Hogan, just the mega powers exploding and all that. That was, to me, the best match. It was more spectacle and entertainment and just seeing the blow-offs of that feud. Number 5, WrestleMania 7. I really don't like this WrestleMania. I don't know why. There's certain matches that I do enjoy on it, but a lot of it just, to me, fell flat. And I would say my worst match is Tenryu and Katal versus Demolition. It just seems such a waste of Demolition. They really, from WrestleMania 6 to 7, it's just Axe's health and him leaving. So it's just crush and smash. It just wasn't the same. The best match tonight was Warrior Savage. That was a good match. A bit long and kind of drawn out. The fact of Warrior giving up wanting to leave, that really just still doesn't sit with me like something I think he would do. But I don't know. It's way back when. Number 4 is gonna be WrestleMania 3. The worst match: the Killer Bees versus Iron Sheik and Nikolai Volkov. I actually forgot about that match even being on the card. And, I watched these a lot, especially about 15 years ago. I would rewatch all these when they came out, the big huge video cassette collection. I would watch it all the time. It's probably more than 15 years ago then, but I watched it. Whatever. I watched it a lot, and I honestly forgot about that match even being there. The best match of the night is Savage Steamboat. A lot of people want to say Hogan and Andre had the spectacle. They did. That's what drew the crowd. But Savage and Steamboat had the best match of the night and one of the best WrestleMania matches of all time. Number 3, WrestleMania 10. It actually has a lot of good, or I'll say decent to good matches on this card. And the worst match to me would be Doink Dink versus Bam Bam and Luna. I never cared for Doink. He was okay when he was evil, when he was good. Yeah, blow that off. Now, the best match, that's a toss-up. Actually, I'm going to give it to 2 of them. Brett versus Owen and Shawn versus Razor in the ladder match. Both excellent choices. Couldn't go wrong with either one. Number 2, WrestleMania 8. The worst match of WrestleMania 8, I'm going to go with Hogan versus Sid Justice. It was very boring. I know we get the Warrior back, but he didn't look the same, of course, because he had lost some muscle mass and everything. But it just should not have gone on last. I know why they were putting it on last. It should have been Hogan versus Flair at this pay-per-view. Of course, the best match of the night, in my opinion, a lot of people might go with Savage and Flair. I'm going with Piper and Bret Hart. I think that still told a good story, and it was a good match. Now, Flair and Savage would be right behind them, though. So I'm not leaving them out. Number 1, WrestleMania is from 1 to 10. One left out of those. WrestleMania 6. and that's probably my most remembered WrestleMania. That's probably the one I remember watching the most or rewatching the most. And of course, the worst match in that would be Duggan versus Dino Bravo. And the funniest thing is Hacksaw Jim Duggan trying to start a USA chant when they're not in the USA. It's just, back as a kid, I probably didn't really catch it. But now when I see it, I just shake my head. And the best match tonight, of course, is the true spectacle. It's Hogan versus Warrior, and Hogan finally losing clean. Of course, he kicked out right afterwards. But that was probably that was the best match of the night. And every match in that card, when you watch that pay-per-view, the crowd is crazy excited for just about everything. A clothesline will get people just off their seats. Yeah. It's a good pay-per-view. Probably the one I rewatch the most out of numbers 1 through 10. Anyway, it's for WrestleMania weekend. Hope y'all enjoy WrestleMania tomorrow night. I might watch it. I'm going to try. Anyway, so next one. Peace out.